The government shutdown is now in day 26, and as the stalemate continues, members of the White House are expressing concerns about the potential impact on the economy. CBS News' Willie James Inman has more on that and the president's trip to Asia to oversee a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia.
President Trump kicked off his trip to Asia by dancing along with performers in Kuala Lumpur as he was greeted by Malaysia's prime minister. The president later joined in the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia, which he helped negotiate in July, diffusing a long border dispute.
This is a momentous day for all of the people of Southeast Asia.
President Trump is expected to meet with a number of world leaders during this week's trip to Asia, including Japan's newly tapped prime minister and President Xi Jinping of China. On Sunday's Face the Nation, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said additional 100% tariffs on China are effectively off the table after a very good two-day meeting with Beijing's top trade negotiator.
I would expect that the threat of the 100% has gone away, as has the threat of the immediate imposition of the Chinese initiating a worldwide export control regime.
Bessent also weighed in on the ongoing government shutdown.
It's a global embarrassment what these Democratic senators are doing, keeping the government shut down. It's starting to affect the economy. It's starting to slow down air traffic.
Also on Face the Nation, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who said it's time for Republicans to sit down with Democratic leaders to discuss health care reforms.
We'll sit down anytime, any place with anyone, either at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, to negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people.
The current shutdown is the second longest in U.S. history. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
In just under a week, nearly 42 million Americans who get federal food assistance could see their benefits disappear as part of a result of the ongoing government shutdown. Nearly 8% of Arkansans receive support from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP. The spending bill is not passed in the House and Senate by September 1st. Funding for SNAP programs will run out. Hattie Hamilton with the River Valley Regional Food Bank says that while they're preparing for an increased demand of food assistance, many people will still suffer from food insecurity.
I think some of the biggest impact is going to be fear. Fear on where your next meal is going to be at. How are you going to survive? How are you going to get through the day?
In Washington, the blame game continues as Republicans and Democrats point fingers at each other to why the shutdown is continuing. Tonight at 10, 5 News reporter Bo Russell will have an in-depth report on how the shutdown's effects are being felt here in Arkansas and across the country. And as the government shutdown stretches into day 26, it's putting a strain on air travel. Airports across the country have reported more staffing shortages than usual. Without enough manpower, there's rising concerns about potential safety lapses and flight delays. Jen Sullivan has details on what's causing the staff shortages and what travelers can expect during the shutdown.
Thousands of flights have been delayed this weekend as airports across the country deal with staffing shortages.
There's going to be a lot less people coming in as people are going to be running out of money.
Oksana Kelly is a TSA agent in Orlando. Right now, she's not getting paid because of the government shutdown. Yet she still has to show up to work because TSA agents and air traffic controllers are considered essential employees. But many are having to call out sick because they say they simply can't afford to pay for things like gas or childcare costs.
If I have nowhere to leave my kids, how am I going to come to work?
According to flight tracker site FlightAware, more than 5,000 flights were delayed Saturday. More than 500 were canceled. Many of those delays are being blamed on staffing shortages.
We've gone up as high as 53% of the delays have been because of staffing shortages. And that number moves every single day.
It's frustrating some passengers.
I'm flying today on sheer faith.
They probably just need to come to an agreement and reopen the government.
Since the shutdown began October 1st, more than 250 FAA facilities have reported staffing problems. That's more than 4 times the number reported during the same period last year. The longer the shutdown lasts, the more financial pressure it puts on these workers.
That leads to an unnecessary distraction, and they cannot be 100% focused on their jobs, which makes this system less safe every day that this shutdown continues.
Travelers are being warned to expect longer security lines and to monitor their flights for any changes. All of this with less than a month to go before the busy holiday travel season. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
We'll continue following updates on the shutdown from Capitol Hill and bringing you updates around the clock on our website, 5newsonline.com. Well, new tonight, football fans are mourning the death of longtime offensive lineman for the New York Jets, Nick Mangold. He died this weekend at age 41 of complications from kidney disease. Less than 2 weeks ago, he revealed on social media he needed a kidney transplant and was seeking a donor. He was diagnosed with the condition in 2006, and he received dialysis for treatment for several years. Mangold was a 7-time Pro Bowl selection during his time with the Jets, and he was enshrined in the team's Ring of Honor in 2022. He's survived by a wife and 4 children. Well, developing tonight, the Barling Police Department is asking for the public's help to locate a missing woman. 62-year-old Brenda Smith was last seen on Friday night around 8 o'clock at the Sebastian County Retirement Center on 4th Street. She's been without her medication since then, and she's described as a black woman who stands 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 160 pounds. If anyone sees her, they're asked to call Barling Police or the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office. Well, 10 years ago today, Arkansas teen Ebby Stepbach was killed a day after she disappeared. 3 years later, investigators found her body at a Little Rock park. A decade later, there's still no arrests and a lot of unanswered questions. Brooke Buckner caught up with Ebby's mother this weekend to see where the investigation stands and how a new social media push could help solve it.
It's always been important for me during this whole time to share what I learn.
And that's what Ebby Stepbach's mother, Lori Jernigan, plans to do through social media. Thursday, Jernigan and true crime producer Michael Mazzella launched new social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to spread awareness about Ebby's case. The page, Justice for Ebby Jane, has hundreds of followers and just keeps growing.
This is the only place you will get current information, current updates, and all your questions answered about the case.
One of Jernigan's goals with the new page, to debunk misinformation. And now she has support from the Arkansas Attorney General's office. Last year, it joined the Little Rock Police Department with the investigation after opening a state cold case unit. She says it's given her renewed hope.
When I first met with them, they were so open-minded.
People are now able to submit anonymous tips, questions, or helpful information to an email account called ebbytips@gmail.com.
Law enforcement will, see questions coming in. If you specifically want something to go straight to there, we'll get it there. We will provide them with everything that we have.
And a lot of us are wondering, what do investigators know?
Well, I can't get into the details, as you can imagine, but I would emphasize again that we are looking at the file with fresh eyes. We are re-interviewing some of the witnesses, some of the individuals that were interviewed prior.
And using new technology to test DNA. Attorney General Tim Griffin says he wants answers just as much as she does, and his office is doing all it can to find them.
It is a comfort to them to know that people in law enforcement, people, elected officials and others, haven't forgotten them, and that's a really important thing.
Jernigan says Ebby always fought for what was right, and she's doing the same for her.
There's more than one person that knows what happened.
That was Brooke Buckner reporting. You can submit any tips on the case to the email address at the bottom of your screen. That email is ebbytips@gmail.com. Well, Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in Eureka Springs has just completed its first ever international rescue, bringing 6 African lions from Canada to Arkansas just in time to avoid dangerous winter conditions. The lions were part of a larger rescue effort involving 3 sanctuaries across 2 countries. After a failing roadside zoo in Ontario shut down, after months of permits and border coordination, the 6 lions arrived safely this week and are now settling into their new habitats at the sanctuary. Among them are 3 littermates, a rare white lion named Thor, and 2 young cubs born during the transport delays.
We're Lifetime Rescue. We have many biologists, zoologists that are going to make sure that all their needs are met every single day. So they get cleaned areas, they get enrichment, they'll get toys to play with, and they'll just get to live a life of dignity and respect.
The public can already see the new arrivals at Turpentine Creek, including the cubs, as they adjust to their permanent home in Arkansas.